legal action against the Tavistock clinic. I mean, who saw this coming? Everyone.
Yeah, well, exactly. We've talked about this for a while. You know, there's going to be this massive medical scandal. And guess what? It's nice to be proved right. At the same time, it's sad that there's they're saying here, potentially 1,000 families who are going to be suing the Tavistock.
Just in case people don't know, what is the Tavistock?
So the Tavistock is the only centre in the country really for dealing with children coming in to identify as trans. Kids, essentially. It's recently been announced it's going to close next year because Dr. Hilary Cass, who's been doing this report into it, basically has found it unsafe. One of the things being that they push affirmative therapy, which is, i.e., a 10-year-old kid goes in and says, boy says, I'm a girl, or girl, but mostly it seems to be girls saying they're a boy, and the therapist will just go, oh, yeah, you are, and here are some drugs, essentially, is the gist of it.
Exactly. And, of course, there's a downside to that, which is that a lot of the kids have other issues.
Yes.
They're autistic, they might be homosexual or gender non-conforming.
All of that. So maybe even 9 of the 10 kids would have just grown up to be gay. Totally cool. Now that it's been announced it's going to close down, a law firm has announced that they're now being approached by a certain number of families, and that they're predicting that's going to increase to about 1,000 families. They're going to say, essentially, that you pushed us down this path too soon, and it has long-term impact.
And it's not just families, it's some of the kids themselves who are now detransitioning. Some people have even had genitals removed and all sorts of horrible stuff because they were encouraged down a path that was not right for them.
Absolutely.
And this is really sad.
Yeah, and I thought we were a decade away from this blowing up into being a huge medical scandal. So, it's incredible to see so quickly 1,000 families.
Yeah.
How this clinic hasn't even, dealt with a huge number of people. So for such a huge proportion of them to be considering legal action is just incredible. And the worst thing about it is, my taxes, and your taxes as well, which I don't care about, but my taxes were spent on this clinic. My taxes were spent transitioning these children.
The money would come in and go...
And then, my taxes were spent detransitioning these children, and now my taxes are going to be spent getting sued by these children.
Because it's the NHS that are going to have to fork out.
So why don't they just ask me before they spend any more of my taxes?
On the positive side, you are getting paid now to talk about it, so you are earning some of that money back.
And also, let's think about these families. They do require some recompense for what went on here.
No, I think you make the... come on. There's only so much tax. There's only so much tax. If you can transition your children, but fine, that's it. You stick with that. You can't, none of this, I had my fingers crossed.
It's not just about that, though, is it? It's actually really important that people are held to account here, because otherwise it might happen again. Yeah. And the real issue, I suppose, with the Tavistock is that whistleblowers within, people who work there, gender specialists who were saying, hang on, this is dodgy. Most of these kids are just gay. We need to really talk about this. They were so terrified of being called bigots and transphobes that the whole thing got shut down. This is a dangerous situation. We can't allow this to happen twice.
No, of course not. But also, when are some of the people who have been pushing this ideology, when's it going to be enough for them to just go, wait a minute?
Well, I haven't seen anyone who's been supportive of Tavistock and their methods saying, oh, yeah, OK, I was wrong. We were wrong about this, so no, I haven't seen anyone. I haven't seen Owen Jones. I haven't seen any columnists at The Guardian. I haven't seen anyone actually admit we made a mistake.
And there are still lots of other clinics. There's a hospital, a children's hospital in Boston, for example, that performs affirming hysterectomies on children. And this is insane. It's obviously
it's worse in America. We've got double mastectomies with young kids, removing healthy breast tissue. This is...
life-changing surgery on children who, they often feel railroaded into the process.
Yeah.
Obviously there's children that are trans and will continue as trans into their adult life.
Yeah,
but for a huge proportion, for around 90%, puberty resolves the issues. So all this, and it's also become a social contagion. It's replaced eating disorders for young women.
So this is why I do understand your annoyance about the financial implications to the taxpayer. But just think, if these people don't take action, and this happens again and again, and it keeps happening, I think you need stuff like this.
Why can't we have a tax on blue hair dye? Why can't we have a tax on blue hair dye that pays for all this? A tax on The Guardian, the people who push this ideology, the people who are really responsible.
Manga sort of avatars.
Manga avatars on Twitter. Would be tax that.